Welcome to the Hershey Podcast. I'm Brandon.
And I'm January.
And what's so funny about that, January?
The fake intros you were doing before we started.
We had talked about swapping.
No, not we, you.
And January would do her mock deep voice and say she was me, and I would come in and say, and January. See, I did it anyways.
It's been a long day. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about some funny dad misconceptions.
Okay.
But first,
yes,
we have a new t-shirt this week.
Oh, you want to start with that?
Well, we could end with that. Which would you like to do?
Let's start with it.
We are relaunching our classic dad shirt that we used to sell in gray and originally in light blue.
Yes.
Almost like a periwinkle blue. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite blue.
No, I liked it. But yeah, the gray was really cool.
Yeah, the gray was cool.
It was neat. And so we've actually been asked many times to bring this shirt back, but as y'all know, we're shitty shippers. So we haven't in a while. And now we have, and it's in more colors, actually quite a few colors and different styles of tees and hoodies, right?
Yes, we have the triblend unisex t-shirts.
Oh, I love that material.
We have the hoodie. We have a football jersey, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
And the raglan. I like raglans as well. So I thought those are 4 very cool styles. And we picked some good colors.
So that's available now through the midnight on next Monday, correct?
Next Monday.
So as always, it's available when the podcast episode drops, and then for the week of that podcast episode, and there are 100 available. So go to the links in our bio or in the show notes on the episode and grab a shirt. And if you get one early right away, they ship it out first, and you should get it before Christmas. Barely, right?
Yes. If I think if you get it in by Friday, maybe even Saturday. Hopefully, yeah.
It'll tell you on there though the dates, but the shipping. But you will get it, and you will get it fast because we aren't the ones shipping it. So
we are not. It will be a very unshitty shipping experience.
So for those that don't know, about the shirt, it says, "I don't babysit, I parent, Dad." Right?
Yes.
Like signed by Dad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't babysit, I parent. So let's talk about where that came from and why it's been such a popular t-shirt.
Well, there's a misconception, I think. And for me, I've always experienced it when I was at the park with my kids. And it's interesting because it's not just other dads that think that, but it's moms too. And it's just that when dad's taking the kids to the park, they're babysitting. Mm-hmm. And, first of all, it's not even that good. We're not even making any money at it. So it's definitely not babysitting. I can assure you that.
Right.
But
you get no cash under the table for this job.
No, there's no tax-free cash money.
No.
But it certainly is work, and you are a parent. And so that's part of parenting is you take your kids to the park from time to time. And I don't know. I just always thought it was a weird comment.
People be like, "Oh, so you're babysitting right now?" It's like, no, I'm not babysitting. I'm parenting.
Yeah, it always kind of caught me off guard because it never made sense to me because I don't think like that. I don't think I'm babysitting my kids.
I think the first time we had this conversation was when our first 2 kids were little and we were still Mormon and part of the church. And I remember telling you, I just don't get it. Like anytime I'm going to go out with some ladies from church or some, friends or whatever. And it's like, well, I have to see if my husband will watch the kids. I have to see if my husband will babysit the kids. It's like, well, who's babysitting your kids? Your husband? It's like, and I remember telling you, like, what is, you guys don't babysit. You're a parent. You parent. Yeah. You're not the babysitter. You're not hired help. Like, can we give men and dads more credit than that they're not just donating sperm and then babysitting on occasion. Like I don't think that's how it works most of the time, right? So,
well, maybe some do, but
yeah, but
we're not talking to those.
Not my husband.
Yeah. Not me. No.
And so, and I remember saying to someone, I'm like, he's not going to babysit. He's the dad. He'll be parenting just like I do when I'm with the kids. Right. Mm-hmm. And so you're right. As women and mothers, we uphold this idea that's really based in toxic masculinity of, the woman stays home and is with the kids. And then the men are there to earn money. And then, we'll wash them once in a while, give the deer a break to go to her book club. Like, like this really patriarchal, toxic mindset, and women uphold this too by using that kind of language, and we sometimes also do it to an extent of not truly allowing our partners and fathers to find their own way with their own kids, right? Like, I remember after we had our second, I'm like, I have to just let him do things the way he does things, because it's going to be different than the way I do things, and that can be a good thing.
Yeah, I remember specifically, I think it was the first time you went out and left me alone with him after I finished that particular semester in chiropractic school. It was brutal, and it was one of the first days I had off for that break, and you just had it. You're like, I'm done. You figure it out. And you like walked out. And I was like, what do I do?
I took the toddler and I was like, you guys just figure it out. And I came home and you were both napping on the floor. So you figured it out. Yeah.
We fell asleep watching football. He was laying in my arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just both.
I took a photo. I still have it.
That was
but
a good memory.
You weren't babysitting. You were spending time with your child.
Yeah.
So yeah, this idea, and anytime you wear one of these shirts out, you get a comment on it, because it makes people stop and think about the language that we're using and the ideals we're upholding, that are just so archaic.
Yeah, and you get a good amount of comments from, I'd say, equal from men and women. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of other people agree as well. It's just those old-fashioned traditions that are starting to kind of be discarded slowly but surely.
We're definitely breaking more and more gender roles, and and that's another thing too. Like, this idea that the typical sitcom dad that's like dopey or whatever, and I see that. I saw this when we were researching pregnancy, birth, and parenthood books for the book proposal for Birth Without Fear. And all of the books that were written for dads were super cheesy and dumbed down. And it was like, can we expect a little bit more and give a little more credit to men right now? That men want to educate themselves and they want to read, and you don't need to make everything a joke, when it comes to fatherhood. And so that was one of the things that was really important to us when we were writing Birth Without Fear. And the partner point of view that you wrote in every single chapter was just a very supportive, straightforward thoughts and information on whatever that chapter was about, to dads and partners, because you're not going to find that in the parenting, pregnancy, birth books, So that's another example of these misconceptions and whatnot about men and fatherhood and dads.
I will say that I think for the most part, the subject of pregnancy and birth and even postpartum to guys as a whole is somewhat uninteresting. And I can say that from personal experience. And look who I'm married to.
But what about parenthood?
I don't know. I think everyone just has to find their own way. And I've tried reading some parenthood books. I have. I say try because I started them, but I couldn't finish them because they just don't make sense for everyone. Right. And the ones I read certainly didn't make sense for me.
So you're telling me if somebody wrote a well thought out, helpful book on supporting me in our pregnancies and births and postpartum, you would not have wanted that? Like if somebody like you had basically written a manual that wasn't, all jokey and whatever, you wouldn't have jumped at the opportunity to have had that and to have bought that and for it to actually be like serious good information to help you out?
Well, yes, I would certainly have.
Thank you very much. I win. And until next time.
However, when you were pregnant with our babies,
yes,
I did not find the array of topics and the books on those topics. Just none of them held my attention very well.
Because that's my point. Maybe I just haven't found the right books, but that was not my point. My point. But thank you for derailing this conversation. Oh my gosh.
If a good book on the subject is written, yes, it would be awesome to read. And maybe there are. I can't honestly say from experience that all the books out there are just terrible.
I was trying to say that dads and men, are smart and intelligent beings and emotional beings and can handle reading a serious book on a subject and aren't the babysitters, but somehow we got into whether or not you would have read a book.
Yes, sometimes I will even go so far as to read graphic novels instead of just comic books.
Well, on days you're feeling a little more intelligent.
I say that after I just finished reading It, and that's 1,154 pages.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm trying to help your case here tonight, and you're actually not helping the situation at all. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. This is amazing. I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
Well, back to what we were talking about. No, I do not babysit.
Speaking of, I want to get my nails done. Can you watch the kids tomorrow?
What do I do? Oh, no. Is there a babysitting manual? All right, I want to call it, dude, here's your babysitting manual, bro. Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up. It really does.
Number 1 New York Times bestseller. Here we come.
I'm thinking that's a little ways off. Oh, my goodness. Well, on that note, I think Brandon and I need to get some sleep because we have some serious sleep deprivation, giggles, and conversation going on right now.
You certainly do.
I do. I really do. I'm very, very tired. Mondays have been very busy for us lately.
Yes, they have been.
All right, you guys. Until next time.
Adios.
Love ya.